Are you looking for some stocks that boast some incredible returns and also tout a great dividend yield as well? Then you're in the right place. In this video, I'll be going over 5 of the top stocks that have returns that really stood out over the last 5 years and show you how much each of these stocks would be worth with a $10,000 investment and their dividends reinvested, the DRIP, aka Dividend Reinvestment Program. And before we dig in, smash that subscribe button. Your wallet will thank you. So to narrow down the stocks for this list, I used the following requirements. Each stock has a dividend yield of 5% or higher. Each stock has a dividend growth that's at least 0%. And each stock has an analysis consensus of buy or strong buy. And finally, each stock had a minimum return of 10% over the last year, 20% over the last 3 years, and finally, 50% over the last 5 years. Based on all of that, here are my top 5 performing stocks that also boast a great dividend yield as well. Coming in at number 5 is HESM, HESM, better known as Hess Midstream LP, which is part of the energy sector. HESM boasts a hefty dividend yield of 7.32% at returns of 33% for 1 year, 78% over 3 years, and 123% over 5 years. A $10,000 investment in HESM over the last 5 years would now be worth $23,500. Showing up at number 4, STLA. And yes, I didn't get the letters mixed up. This is not TSLA, which would be for Tesla. STLA is better known as Stellantis, which, in case you didn't know, is the parent company of brands like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, to name a few. Stellantis comes in with a nice dividend yield of 6.37% and had returns of 60% for 1 year, 98% over 3 years, and 183% for 5 years. A $10,000 investment in Stellantis stock over the last 5 years would now be worth $28,000. Dropping in at number 3, here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Well, SUN, better known as Sunoco. And this is the second stock in our top 5 that is in the energy sector. Sunoco comes in boasting a solid dividend yield of 5.56% and returns of 38% for 1 year, 145% over 3 years, and an incredible 217% over 5 years. A $10,000 investment in Sunoco after 5 years would now be worth almost $32,000. On to our number 2 top stock that boasts a crazy high dividend, INSW, better known as International Seaways, and is now our 3rd stock in the top 5, which is part of the energy sector. I'm noticing a trend here. INSW has an enormous dividend yield of 12.23% and had returns of 31% for a year, 263% over 3 years, and 290% over 5 years. A $10,000 investment in ISW after 5 years will be worth $39,000. And finally, coming in at number 1, give me a drum roll, please. Fro. I don't have much hair, but FRO, better known as Frontline Limited, which also is in the energy sector, meaning that 4 out of our top 5 stocks in the list are part of the energy sector. Frontline was the clear winner here and came in with the highest dividend yield of the group at 12.39% and had returns of listen to this, 52% for 1 year, 296% over 3 years, and an amazing 479% over 5 years. A $10,000 investment in Frontline after 5 years will be valued at a stunning $58,000. Now let's take a look at a chart so you can visually marvel how each of these stocks did over the last 5 years and that $10,000 investment. Isn't that a thing of beauty? A simple $10,000 investment can multiply so much in such a short period of time. Now, there's no guarantee that any of these stocks will perform in the same manner over the next 5 years, but based on analyst ratings and their past performance, there's a good chance each of these stocks will continue to do well in the future. And I did want to mention one other stock that I see so many people clamoring about because it has a high dividend yield and a monthly dividend distribution. But I didn't include it in this list because it just hasn't performed well over the past 5 years and has even lost money over that time period. It just goes to prove there's more to a stock or an ETF or mutual fund than just a great dividend yield. Now, what stock am I talking about? That would be O, which is the Realty Income Corporation. It has a nice dividend yield of just under 6%. But as you can see, when you add it to the chart to compare to the others on this list, it doesn't even compare to the returns of the top 5 stocks. Well, that's it for this video. I hope this information was useful and provided you with some insight into several very good stocks that could be a great investment in your portfolio that also boast a great dividend yield. As always, thanks for watching and hanging around till the end. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you know when I put out new content focused on your money and how to manage it best with a little bit of comedy thrown in for good measure. See you next time.